Daily Mail.
Wear a mask in the office. As UK faces 3 more weeks lockdown, Mail reveals minister's plan for millions. Professor Babak Javed Singh University School of Medicine, there's likely to be an upside to wearing them, and practically no downside. Beatrice's summer royal wedding cancelled. Princess Beatrice has been forced to cancel her wedding next month amid the continuing coronavirus lockdown. The Queen's granddaughter had already scrapped her wedding reception at Buckingham Palace because of the need for social distancing. She had hoped to be able to hold a small wedding ceremony at the Chapel Royal at St. James Palace on May 2nd, if government advice allowed. But friends told the Daily Mail yesterday that in light of the lockdown extension to May 7, and the suggestion that even if it were lifted, then the things wouldn't go back to normal, the princess and her fiancé Adordo Mapelli Mosey have decided to cancel their plans altogether.
Daily Star.
Hang to the right. One-way pavements plan after lockdown keep pussy in house like Mrs. S. Coronavirus Britain could have us made to walk on the right-hand side of the pavement and keeping our cats inside like Telly's Mrs. Slocum. Tom's gone. Captain Tom Moore issued a rallying cry to the nation yesterday, while PM Boris Johnson decides how to recognize his heroic efforts. The war veteran, 99, raised more than £16 million for the NHS by completing 100 lengths of his garden yesterday before his 100th birthday. Del Boy a fool. TV means too much to David. Del Boy actor Sir David Jason says he must keep working because he is terrified he will drop dead if he stops. Steamy to stormy. Washout at the weekend. Temperatures are set to plummet from today, with heavy rain and thunderstorms from Spain heading our way in time for the weekend.
Daily Mirror.
Okay, 3 more weeks under lockdown, what then? As Govt extends curbs, anger at refusal to spell out exit plan. Lockdown will now go on until May 7, but NO10 refuses to say if it has an exit strategy after that. Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab said giving a timescale would not be responsible. As the clap for carers rang out again, our drive to give them a medal gathered force. And NHS staff applauded the public for staying home. Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab urged the public to show patience as he extended the lockdown for 3 more weeks, insisting there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But he refused to set out a definitive timeframe for ending the quarantine restrictions, saying it wouldn't be a responsible thing to do.
The Daily Telegraph.
Stay at home. For the NHS, your family, your neighbors, your nation, the world and life itself. No end to lockdown in sight, so what now? At least 3 more weeks of restrictions as Raab resists calls to provide more clarity. No end to lockdown in sight, so what now? Dominic Raab last night failed to set out a timetable for when the coronavirus lockdown would end, as he announced that it must continue for at least another 3 weeks. The Foreign Secretary, standing in for Boris Johnson at the daily briefing, said restrictions must remain in place until May 7 and possibly beyond. He said there was light at the end of the tunnel as the measures continue to contain the spread of the virus, but refused to say when or in what way the shutdown might start to be eased, warning that it would be irresponsible to do so.
Daily Express.
Virus. Light at the end of tunnel. Dominic Raab urged Britain to stay strong yesterday as he extended the lockdown, insisting, "There is light at the end of the tunnel. Restrictions must stay for at least 3 more weeks, and some could remain until June," the Foreign Secretary indicated. Changing course now risked a worse death toll and more damage to the economy, he warned. Mr. Raab, standing in for Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who is recovering from the virus, said Britons had sacrificed too much to ease up now. The sun will shine again. Inspiring words of Captain Tom, 99. Cheers to nation. £16 million NHS hero Captain Tom Moore delivered an inspiring message to Britain yesterday as he sets his sights on raising £20 million for the NHS.
Evening Standard.
Top prof demands action as lockdown extended. Scientist tells ministers to get act together over virus tests and planning. The top scientist, whose warnings about the lethal spread of coronavirus led to the lockdown, accused the government today of acting too slowly on mass testing, which he said is key to easing the tight restrictions. Number of patients hospitalized with virus falls by 16% in a week. The number of coronavirus patients being treated in London hospitals has fallen by a 1/6 in a week, it can be revealed today. Admissions reduced from a peak of 4,813 on Wednesday last week to 4,031 on Tuesday, a drop of 782 patients, or 16%, the latest Downing Street figures show. Hospitals across the capital confirmed that patient numbers appeared to have reached a plateau, but one doctor warned it was far too early to lift the lockdown. Own Peter Blake's iconic artwork. Buy special limited edition print to help our Food for London appeal.
Metro.
3 more weeks. The lockdown goes on and it's likely to last even longer than that. Dominic Raab insisted there was light at the end of the tunnel as he extended the lockdown for at least 3 weeks. The very best of British. The very best of British Boris Johnson plans to recognize the heroic efforts of a 99-year-old World War II veteran who has raised more than £15 million for the NHS. Captain Tom Moore completed 100 laps of his garden in Bedfordshire as a guard of honour by the 1st Battalion of the Yorkshire Regiment looked on.